I am. We'll do the clap sync and a marker. Okay. Ready? Right. 3, 2, 1, mark. Oh, got it. That was it.
On your mark, get set. We're riding on the
Clueless
internet, cyberspace, set free. Hello, virtual reality. Interactive appetite, searching for a website, a window to the world, got to get online. Take a spin, now you're in with the techno set. You're going surfing on the
Clueless
internet.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Clueless Internet podcast, episode 18.4 of the virus side chat. I am your host, Alex. I'm joined once again, as usual, by my co-host, Howard.
Hello, Internet.
Hello, and we're here today to talk about, we talk about random shit that we don't. I have notes. Notes.
Are we here?
Can you hear us if your ears aren't real? That is the true question that we really need to be asking ourselves. So we're into what week is this? Is this week 4?
I don't fucking know.
Of quarantine?
No idea, man.
Of lockdown.
Not a fucking clue, mate.
We've currently surpassed, I know that we've currently surpassed 2.7 million total cases around the world.
Sounds like you're talking about a right bastard. He's a total case.
He's a nutcase.
He's a total fucking
too
case.
Many. I know the UK's passed like 100,000 or something ridiculous. It's really getting quite scary nowadays. And did you see about that guy who rammed a train through a fence because of coronavirus?
No.
It was. Do you know that in America? Do you know how they've had that big cruise ship sort of moored up? I think it's in New York or something. It's the ship hospital. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Some guy thought that there was some like major conspiracy going on, and this was his one chance. So he derailed a train and just bolted it for where that ship is docked.
Gotta go.
I'm gonna go prove that I'm not crazy by crashing a train through loads of fences.
I mean, I'll crash a train, but I'm not crazy.
I'll try and find it. I think. Here it is. It's engineered derails train near Navy Mercy ship over coronavirus conspiracy theory. No,
Why?
I don't want to subscribe to you, Independent. Goodbye.
I do not understand.
I'm not sure that he did, to be honest. But there you go. I've sent you a link to that article on the CNN's.
The Rona, it's coming.
So he's facing federal charges after he allegedly admitted to intentionally derailing a train. It says Tuesday, but it wasn't. It was the 2nd of April that this article was written, so the Tuesday of that week. So Eduardo Moreno, 44, told law enforcement investigators he was suspicious of the ship and believed it had an alternative purpose.
It's looking at me.
It's floating.
See
funny.
that ship? It shouldn't. It just shouldn't.
I want to know how far away from the train track he managed to get.
I thought maybe he was trying to see if the train could make it into the ocean.
Maybe he was trying to set up his own Corona ship. That's all he was trying to do,
but
people.
Why?
To save
the
lives.
Train? How many people did he kill?
Well, it was, I think you can scroll down. I'm pretty sure he just derailed the front part, luckily. So he didn't derail the whole fucking thing. I don't think it would have made it as far. He said he believed that it had an alternate purpose related to COVID-19 or a government takeover. Fucking... Brilliant. Well, brilliant. Well, just to kick that up, I'm going to move on sort of after this one. I want to know what is happening. I don't know if you know anything about this, but what is happening with the 5G coronavirus conspiracy theories? I keep hearing it every now and again. I know Eamon Holmes on one of the morning talk shows talked about it, but I have no idea what is going on. Do you have any idea?
Some people seem to think I had an argument with someone about this thing a few weeks ago on Twitter.
Should we leave a link to that?
I have no idea where it is. But
I argue with so many people a day; it just gets buried.
I think I showed it to you where I saw one of these tweets about the 5G thing, and I basically tweeted out going, "You fucking bellends, like it's radiation, like the most that radiation will do. It's not going to cause a pandemic. Radiation fucking it destroys shit."
It deteriorates you more so over time, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then someone was like, "You idiot! Like that amount of radiation." Went. I was arguing the point that like radiation doesn't cause disease. Like it doesn't cause viruses. It might mutate them somehow, but it doesn't cause new ones to just like pop out of nowhere. And
it doesn't
especially
help.
Not that low level of radiation. Yeah, you need like
Chernobyl level. Radiation.
Well, yeah, the amount of radiation that's coming from a 5G mast is... I mean, I wouldn't live near one, I'll put it that way, but at the same time...
House prices are probably quite cheap next to them, so if you're not bothered...
but I don't think like
go for it.
I don't think 5G in the air is causing everyone to die of Rona. If it was, then why would there be bothering? Wouldn't we just stick with 4G?
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
You would probably think, we get faster internet connection, but, half the population's going to die. Yeah, a lot of the population's going to die. So, yeah, I'll take it. 5G? Fuck yeah.
Why
Load
not?
Google a bit faster. Why not? So people just think that it's going to cause the disease or the infection
somehow, or maybe that it's mutated a flu virus or something. I'm just like, no. If it
the
came
mental gymnastics
if
you have
it
to
came
do for that.
from anywhere, and there's a possibility our podcast will disappear because of the whole misinformation thing about Corona. If you're gonna go conspiracy, I'm gonna go with that. The
train driver.
No, the medical. Yeah, no, the medical research lab in Wuhan that has the same logo as the Umbrella Corp from.
Oh my god, yes, I saw that.
And people were like, "There's probably fucking test bats and shit that got out onto one of those wet markets that then got sold." And it's like, okay, like I'll give that conspiracy some credence, even though it might get our fucking podcast shut off. But
no, it won't. We're not spreading misinformation. This is all true. You should believe every word we say.
It's a possibility. I mean, give me one person who actually knows where the virus came from. And then it's like, well, none of these are conspiracy. They're theories until otherwise.
Yeah. I do have an image of that tweet where it shows you the coronavirus, I don't want to say the coronavirus epicenter, but the supposed... I mean, who picks that logo? Have you never seen Resident Evil?
I think maybe that lab's been there for a long time and the developers maybe based it on that.
That could be a possibility, actually. I apologize. Shanghai something. RLSW. I apologize. You may have good intentions, but you're also evil in video games. So that makes you evil in real life. It's right. Don't Google it. It's right.
Stop Googling it.
Moving on, so no one can question me. I saw this post on Reddit the other day, and it was the social distancing Olympics. Do you want to? I'll send you a link to it. Do you want to have sort of a guess what people might be attempting with this? And bear in mind, you have to have perfect situation to actually pull this off, because you sort of need to live in an exact building if you want to replicate this. There will be links in the description to everything we talk about at cluelessinter.net. It's probably your best place to get it, because podcast apps and descriptions just don't seem to go well together.
Okay, I see someone either on a balcony or climbing on a balcony.
Now, when you pause it at the start, it kind of looks like he's got a sonic screwdriver in his hand. Easily
He's got
mistaken.
something.
He has something. Are you ready to play this?
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, Lord.
So when this gets to the wider shot, you can see there's multiple people on different floors.
Oh! That's
And
actually,
it's different floors versus each other. Now,
that's actually pretty cool.
it's pretty cool, but social distancing rules are not being adhered to here.
Yeah, they should be throwing those batons at each other.
Yeah, from at least 6 foot away. I don't actually know who wins. Oh, it looks like the guy on the bottom's won.
Whoop.
I think whoever was on the bottom floor won that. Oh, sorry, spoilers for anyone who wanted to watch that. But that is a social distancing Olympic. As I say, you can only do it if you've got the perfect conditions and like they could do a whole every floor has a go and see who wins.
I mean, that was pretty cool.
And then you can just whichever floor loses pays the rent for everyone else.
Oh,
Haha.
no thanks. I'm out.
I'll stay inside. Thank you very much. Moving on. I'm gonna move on from the talking about the coronavirus directly to how it's affecting daily life. Now, the PlayStation 5, Howard.
Yes.
We're moving back to the PlayStation 5 because, the Xbox really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things because no one cares. No, I've got some news about the Xbox as well. But
You better.
I will. Trust me because I love me some Xbox. 5 or 6 million of the PlayStation 5 units are going to be produced between, I did tell you this before, by the end of March 2021. Now that is essentially, I don't know if it's the end of the fiscal year or just the end of the tax year or something
Not
like that.
sure. Depends on the country because where they developed. Is it Korea or Japan? I can't remember.
I'm pretty
Japan, isn't
sure
it?
Sony's based in Japan. Yeah.
So yeah, it depends on when their fiscal year ends. It
March 2021 maybe.
It might just be that's when they foresee it likely being, because if they are like playing it safe, then a vaccine would be assumed to be coming out around then. It's a year on. March 2021 is a year on essentially from. So.
Oh yeah, last month.
So yeah, so people would hope that there would be a vaccine either complete or in the works to be complete and testing by that point. So
I think they actually started trials in the UK at least yesterday. This podcast is being recorded on Friday.
They've started trials around the world, but that's not to get anyone's hopes up. The trials that they've started are the preliminary trials, so the medical boards around the world don't allow vaccines and medicines to go on without extreme testing, essentially. So this is usually about the time when you'd start seeing vaccines being tested. In fact, there were vaccines being tested really early. The first one was probably about a month ago now in America, but that's the beginning of the tests, essentially. That's the first wave of tests of that drug. That drug will continue to be tested for a year, essentially.
Yeah.
Because you got to know the long-term effects. You can't just go test and go, oh, that did well.
Well, that worked on that one person. It's probably going to work on everyone else. Ship it, boys.
Oh, everyone's balls fell off. Fuck.
Well.
Even the women. Even the women.
Even the women grew them and then they
And
fell
then they
off.
fell off.
I call that a success. But that 5 to 6 million PlayStation 5s, that will be the production over that whole year, over the whole. So, I mean, it says. I don't know if the PlayStation 5 must already be in production now. I'd say they've got to have the console finished. Everything's done. They must be producing them now. Because if they start producing them very close to the release, then that's going to be a very short time to produce 5 to 6 million consoles.
If the initial release was meant to be what? It was meant to be around winter this year originally.
It will probably be November-ish. November, early December maybe.
Yeah, at the moment I imagine they'll still be working out the kinks. Like the main development's down because that's why obviously people have development kits. The console probably won't change a whole lot now, but they will probably be going through doing what they can, especially if they've got extra time, they might as well.
They've probably finalised the hardware. But they're probably still working on software, would you say?
Software and probably still some bits of hardware. Anything that's not going to break the entire structure of the system that developers have been programming on.
True, yeah, it would just be a bit shit. Oh, we know you've been working on this game for 2 to 3 years, but we're
changed the
changing everything.
processor. It's a different processor. Fuck.
Oh god, this game's way too small for this processor. Sorry, scrap it. But this 5 to 6 million is in comparison to the PlayStation 4, which, I mean, it doesn't sound like a hell of a lot, which had 7.5 million in the same time span, I think, in about the same year. And the game devs reckon that the price is going to be somewhere between $4.99 and $5.49.
Yeah.
So that would be probably around £450 pound, I'd say. £450 and £500, but then sometimes you have different conversions, like the recent phones and stuff, where it's like, I think that, which I'm going to talk about later, the iPhone SE, I think it was retailed at like $3.99 and then it was like £4.19 for some reason.
It will
probably just for export costs and stuff like that.
The reason they did that, they did it right around the time of Brexit being finalised. Essentially, they upped the cost of their devices in this country specifically. To save themselves on problems with shipping and trade, essentially. So they don't know that they're going to have those problems, but they did it just in case, because they can't do it once the phone's out. So they've started early, and they've basically just said, sorry, it's going to cost more in the UK. Why? Because you're fucking your economy. And we don't want to take the risk. I haven't heard that word in
ages. I haven't heard Brexit in ages. Thank fuck. I mean, I'd rather go back to Brexit now.
Yeah, because it's not because of inflation, because most other things haven't changed that price drastically. But Apple as a company basically just went, no, we're going to do this. This is what you get. This is what you get for Brexit, essentially.
We're not paying that. You can pay that.
It could be down the line when we've got all our trade stuff sorted, and Apple are like, well, we're not actually going to lose any money, so we'll return to regular economic costs, essentially.
I did see somebody, there was a Walmart offer for it already. Like, I know the phone only recently came out, but there was already a Walmart offer for it for like $200, or dropping it down $200. I'm like, fuck. Oh no, sorry, $100. Oh no, $200. No, I was right, I think. But they, just straight away, I was like, Jesus. I thought it was for the UK, so I was like, oh shit, I might hop on this. But then I saw it was American. I was like, ugh, no, thank you. I'll probably pay more in shipping costs. So sorry, back to the PlayStation.
Yes, PlayStation.
That's what the devs reckon that the price is going to be based on the hardware that is currently available.
Yeah,
it might be a little bit cheaper because it'll just be the different. I think some people compare it to the products that you can get individually. Like the graphics card that they're paying for might be the same as, I don't know, like let's just say like a GTX 1080. It's not, but like let's say it's that, and then you pay like $200 for that. Sony is probably paying like $50 just for that graphics card. They're probably paying like nothing compared to what you're paying, because they're paying for like millions instead of just your one. So I think price is going to be lower.
There's massive costs reductions when you buy things wholesale.
It's bulk buying, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
So they save a lot on shipping as well. So you think they've got to set up a whole infrastructure just to send out one to each different place, whereas if you're just sending 7.5 million to one place, it's going to be a lot easier.
Yeah.
Apparently, I think this was a Bloomberg report, which is where I got this information from, was that they said that the production, the price, they should reveal that before production in June. So there you go. So production, I even wrote it for myself. So production is going to happen after June, and they will announce the price and I assume the look and everything in June at some point.
Nice.
Same as Xbox, apparently. I don't have this written down in my notes, but I read some headlines.
They always tend to do it around the same time.
Yeah, they want to. I know that Apple do the same with Oneplus lately. Whenever Oneplus announce when their reveal event is, Apple go, oh yeah, as is like the day before or the day after. We're just gonna keep you on your toes. But with the Xbox, as I say, granted, I did just read the headline. I didn't really read too much into the story yesterday.
Yeah.
They're planning, apparently, let me just do the air quotes, apparently, going to be announcing a cheaper version of the console to come out alongside the Xbox Series X.
Ooh, PlayStation, you better get on that.
Yeah. And I was thinking to myself, what would I be okay with them cutting? And what would I know they would cut rather than what I would be okay with? I think I would be okay for, let's say hypothetically the console price is like £500. That's the base price for both consoles. Let's say they're both releasing a cheaper model as well as the full, let's say like the Pro version. I would probably forego the ray tracing and probably 4K again. In my situation now, I would probably forego 4K and ray tracing to get probably like I would assume quite a big bump in price.
I've watched some videos of like Red Dead Redemption stuff running on ray tracing, where they show you the difference between the lighting. They'll show you around Saint Denis and stuff, and some of the mountain shots and like the sky and stuff. I want that in whatever the next car. I want that. It's just beautiful. Ray trace that. At first, I was like, I don't even know what that means. I don't exactly still know exactly what it means, because if you ray trace something when you're 3D rendering, essentially you're firing simulated photons at things, and then the photons return to the camera and act in the way as if light was really bouncing off of the surface. Which is why ray tracing takes fucking ages, because you put something onto render and it could take hours to render one frame. So the fact that they've developed a system, when they say it's ray tracing graphics, I assume that it's a simulated photon field, essentially, creating realistic light reactions. Because from what I've seen of these videos of it in action, when you see like in Red Dead Redemption, you'll see like clouds rolling. They'll show you a big wide open shot of a big open like plane, and you'll see the clouds rolling across the sky and just creating an exact shadow of that across the ground,
and it just looks really realistic.
And the way the lighting suddenly like dips as the clouds go over, it doesn't kind of fade out, it just kind of like dips like when you're just walking along and the sun suddenly dips behind a cloud, and it's almost like you don't notice it for half a second, and you go, oh bloody hell. I don't know, there's something about it. And now that I've seen it, I want it.
See, I could probably again, with that, I would say, now that I'm thinking about it again, it's a stupid game to put ray tracing in, but it looks so fucking beautiful, and that is Minecraft. Have you seen ray tracing in Minecraft? Ray tracing in Minecraft makes it look like a completely different game. Now, I've been playing Minecraft for fucking years, on and off.
Ooh,
and I think if they added ray tracing, I would probably jump back in wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Again, saying that, I would say if you give me a console, I mean, I assume that the Xbox, if they're going to release a cheaper version, they're going to forego the disk drive again, like they did with the Xbox Series S or the Xbox One S, I think it is. They're probably going to forego that and say, oh, you have to buy everything digital. You can play the Xbox, like the PlayStation Now service, the Xbox, I think it's Gold or something like that, Xbox. I'm sorry, I haven't played Xbox. I don't know what it is anymore. But I would probably forego, if the console was halved in price, I would probably forego ray tracing and the ability to use 4K. I would even...
Are you watching this video link you sent me?
The Red Dead Redemption 2. Yeah, it does.
I've just
look
got
good.
it on in the background. Oh god, it looks so good.
It does look amazing. And if you want to know about some of the deep dive, there's a video and a channel that I talked about last episode called Digital Foundry. They've done it's a 45-minute video. I haven't watched it yet, but it says Minecraft RTX deep dive, how Nvidia delivered a game-changing ray tracing experience, ray tracing upgrade. So if you want to know all about that, these guys go so in depth with the technical side. I get lost half the time, but if you know your technical shit, they are a very reputable source as far as I'm aware. So unless somebody shows me otherwise where they're taking Chinese bribes, I will believe them. But yeah, as I say, if I would forego ray tracing 4K, I would even at a push probably forego the built-in SSD. If the price of the console was halved, I probably wouldn't want to go without a disc tray, because especially now, if I bought the PlayStation 5, I wouldn't be buying many games with it.
That last video didn't really. Okay, this one's better.
Are you sending me another ray tracing video?
This one. Oh god! If I could just get this on a console, which it'll never happen. This is a computer on Ultramax.
I mean, these consoles are rivaling top PCs, to be honest, with some of the specs that they're pumping out. So
fucking better be. But yeah,
so is this Red Dead 2?
The cloud systems and stuff on this, when you see it in ray tracing, just like skip forward to like 40 seconds or something like that.
I shall leave that on in the background. I'll let that roll and play while I carry on. But as I was saying about the PlayStation 5, most of the games that I own currently, PS4, and they're on disc. When I buy the PlayStation 5, I will most likely not buy many games at launch. Yeah. And I will 9 times out of 10 just be replaying games that I've already got, and maybe be using the I'm hoping that they add sort of a built-in upgrade for these games where it doesn't have to upgrade it a lot, but I think the Xbox Series X has a built-in HDR upgrade where it adds HDR to games that don't have it, and it just makes them look a little bit crisp, a little bit nicer.
Yeah.
So I'll probably do that. All right, I'm at the part with the cloud. Fucking okay.
Look at that fucking scene.
God rays.
It looks.
You gotta love the God rays.
That looks like Ghost of Tsushima, to be fair, with the rays and the lighting.
Very true. Ghost of Tsushima looks like a very good game. It looks like a very impressive graphical game. Fuck, when he's walking through the woods with that sunlight between the trees. Ooh. Okay, yeah, ray tracing's pretty awesome. Ray tracing looks pretty awesome.
It depends on the game, because I want it in this game in particular.
I want it in Minecraft. That is what I'm on about. All right. The next thing that I have down is that the guys behind the Resident Evil remakes are really going all in. They're doing I think they've already started on Resident Evil 4, even though Resident Evil 3 literally came out a few months ago. And that game, with ray tracing, as well as how it already looks, would look insane. I'm going to assume that Resident Evil 4, by the time that comes out, the next gen will be out, and that will probably have ray tracing on top of the Resident Evil games lately have been fucking gorgeous.
Well, there's a lot of sacrifice in scale because they're not massive games, so they can afford to put I'm pushing my desk around. They can afford to put the time and effort into the graphical system as well as everything else.
Very true. I think Resident Evil 3 is about 5 hours long. It's not a huge game.
It's a very short game. People were upset that it's essentially a way of selling the multiplayer to go with it.
Yeah, because it is relatively open world-esque. But the 5 hours, I think people were also upset at the fact that they forego because I think in Resident Evil 2 you had the 2 storylines that you could intertwine. Yeah. I know that wasn't in Resident Evil 3, the original, so they wouldn't add it in this.
In this one, you just kind of swap to the other character for a bit, don't you?
Yeah, it's between Jill and Carlos.
Yeah.
And just they forego the long. I keep saying forego is my word for the day. I think they've sort of given up on the whole 8 to 10 hour story just to add more difficulty levels, because I've heard people speaking about the fact they had so many bullets it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Instead of a zombie survival, it was more of just an action game.
Well, early game as well. There's not actually that many zombies, and it's quite from what I've seen, it's quite easy to just get around them. And
you can roll and stuff, I think.
Yeah, and with Nemesis, as quick as he is, it's like as long as you're quick and you don't get caught in a pile of zombies, essentially you can get away from them quite easily, compared to Which is weird because he can leap across the fucking map, whereas
He can fucking move.
Thingy,
That guy.
what's his face in
Mr. X.
Mr. X in 2, though he was fucking slow, he'd just come out of nowhere and sneak up on you. It's lost the element of like the dread that he had.
The ever-present dread of him just maybe being round the next corner or something. I've heard a few people, because I haven't played this myself. I'm still looking to get Resident Evil 2 at some point once I've blasted through my other games. But I've heard people saying that it's not as scary as Resident Evil 2.
It's more of an action game, which a lot of people have pointed out that the Resident Evil 3 was more of an action game in itself.
Oh, the original was more like that.
Yeah, so it's kind of following suit with the originals. But people were like, it's just what you created, that perfect thing you created with 2, you've completely just lost it in the third one. So hopefully they can bring that back in the fourth one somehow. But then
maybe
after 3, the whole series became more actiony until the newest one, I think, which
Resident
was
Evil 7.
I think that was less actiony. It was more about the tension and everything else.
That was quite scary, and the fact that it was first person, you could play that in VR as well.
Yeah.
I do not want to play that in VR.
No, thank you.
No thanks. They are also working on Resident Evil 8 as well, so they are going all fucking in on Resident Evil currently.
Well, the company that's doing the remasters, I think, is a separate arm. I don't think it's the people who do the main games.
Yeah, because that would stretch a lot of people. I mean, it would be good to reuse assets for both, I suppose. And
oh god, yeah,
so they look
share the
uniform.
work.
Because the remakes look fucking awesome. I'm just gonna rattle through a load because I've got just like a load of gaming notes, so I'll rattle through this section.
How dare you?
If you're stuck at home and you've got PlayStation Plus, you can get Journey and on the Uncharted series again for free.
Yeah, goddammit, I've already got Journey. Yeah,
I didn't, and I will be playing it at some point when my body and soul is ready.
The nice thing about Journey was I bought that on the PS3, and all of that game company games just moved onto the PS4. I didn't have to buy them again. Hopefully they'll do that with the PS5 because I want to be able to still play Flower and Flow and everything. Actually, no need because they're going to be backwards compatible.
Yes, true.
And they've cleared something up about backwards compatibility. Actually, they said there's going to be on launch day 1. There's going to be 4,000 odd titles backwards compatible with the PS5. At first,
that's quite good.
At first, they really worried everyone because they were like, but then they came out and went, oh, actually, no, it's this many. Okay, thanks.
Well, Mark Cerny, when he was doing that 1 hour, let me say, boring as fuck, apart from certain nuggets of information that he gave out, speech about the architecture of the console.
Which, for some people like me, is enjoyable, but yeah, it's not exactly for everyone.
It was enjoyable every now and again. Like, I'd be sitting there and he'd just be talking about, the right speed for this, the capacitors in this. Oh, also there's like 825 gigs, and that's when I'd wake up and go, "What? Hello? What? Was that a detail of the new console? Was that a little nugget of information?"
How many gigs?
It's a weird number, 825 gigabyte instead of just a 1 terabyte. Weird number. I assume they may be using.
I have a feeling something to do with that custom. I think they might have a separate hard drive for the operating system, maybe a small SSD or something. But
that's what I was thinking. It makes up the rest.
It might be that because this is a custom hard drive, we don't know exactly what its abilities are. Maybe it's got a better compression method.
I think it has a faster write speed as well. I think it does have a better compression as well. I can't remember who I was watching who said that.
It might be that it doesn't need to be the full terabyte because essentially you can fit maybe a terabyte's worth of gaming on there, maybe, because the compression's so good. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. Only time will tell.
It might be. Yeah, only time will tell. I cannot wait to see all the day one MKBHD and Mark S. Brownlee and Unbox Therapy and all these people getting their hands on it probably an hour after the announcement stream and stuff like that, just breaking it down.
Those assholes who just buy one and then smash it in front of a queue of people.
Yeah, oh god. Why?
It happens.
Just give it to me.
Every big launch you've got to sit through the bastards. Yeah.
You've also had that guy who, a long time ago, this is an old video, but the guy who bought an iPhone day 1, and then he was talking to some news reporter about it, and he tried to get it out to show her, and it dropped. fuck it, you love to see it. So yeah, those are your free games. Journey, Uncharted series, that will probably kill, especially the Uncharted series. If you get into that will kill days worth of boredom.
Well, hopefully you didn't miss last month, because last month was Uncharted 1 to 3, and then this month was 4. So very nice.
Oh well, that's the Uncharted series 1 to 3. That is, I think they just reran that for people who maybe missed it, because I think, well, if you missed it, you would have just got 4, and then I think people are like, oh shit, this is really good, I wish I could go back, and then they're just like, oh, well, you know, we gave it away 2 months ago, you might as well have it again.
A bit shit for
So
the
if
people
that's
who
still on
downloaded
offer,
it, though.
grab it. Yeah. Because I was like, I've already got it. But Journey was nice. Journey was a nice addition. I don't know what the Xbox equivalent is. I assume they give away free games as well.
They've got Game Pass,
Xbox Gold.
and they put loads of stuff on Game Pass, don't they?
Game Pass. Yes, if you've got Game Pass on the Xbox, you can currently play Red Dead Redemption 2 on there, because they added it very recently. So
Nice.
that is they took off GTA 5, I think, and put that on. So
You can't have
to
more than one
download that.
massive Rockstar title on there at a time.
No, Jesus, their servers would blow up, I think. And now, Howard,
That's me.
it is time for my weekly talk about the Dragon Ball Z Kakarot game. As we've all come to love.
We didn't have one last week, so I'll
We
let
didn't
you
have
off.
one last week. I spared you. I spared you because I didn't really play very much last week. But this week, I have finally completed the game. I finished the Boo Saga,
Yes.
and let me tell you, during the Cell Saga, I was very underwhelmed.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of great. I mean, there was great animation, but there was less. You can tell going through the game that they put a lot of effort into the Saiyan and Frieza Saga.
It's the
and
ones
then
everyone knows best.
Yeah, and they kind of skimped out on the Cell Saga. Unfortunately, they didn't have the amazing animation for the final Flash. They just skimped out on scenes where I thought, oh shit, you know, you could have
about
really
How
done stuff with this.
how was Vegeta's redemption?
Vegeta in the Boo Saga.
Yeah.
It was good. It wasn't as
'Cause that
good
is
as I was expecting.
It's arguably the best moment in the Boo saga.
But it was like,
Did they do it well? Did they do it justice at least?
I think they did. It wasn't as greatly animated as I wanted, but that was due to time constraints, I think.
Yeah.
I think they got pushed quite a lot to get this game out quicker, so they didn't have chance to sort of do the smaller sections.
If I was the development team, I would have focused in on the fan favorite moments, though, and that is one of them. Going Super Saiyan 3 was probably another one for the Boo Saga.
Oh,
Did they not do too well?
That's all I'm gonna say about that one. I was expecting a lot of just great animations for these sections. Now, don't get me wrong, the animation's good in most parts anyway. The Vegeta redemption, where he goes to Margin Vegeta, that was amazing to play. I will give them that. It made me, I couldn't stop playing. I couldn't put the controller down because I was like, I need to go and punch Vegeta in the face.
Finally, I am Vegeta.
Yeah, basically, like, unfortunately, you don't get to play as Margin Vegeta against Goku. I wish they gave me the choice.
Oh,
of who to pick.
in the arena.
After they teleport out to some like I don't, where do they go to, like some wasteland or something to fight, don't they? So you play as Goku. Sorry, spoilers, by the way.
Oops.
Oopsie daisy, but you know, play it.
Oopsie poopsie.
It felt amazing to play. That's what I'll say. Visually, it was very good. It was very good visually as well. I was a little bit disappointed that they chose to pick certain moments to animate well over others.
Yeah.
But when you get to the point where everyone, it's sort of like end times. Do you know what I mean? When they sort of break the door. Oh, also, I've got so much to say, I'm tripping over my words.
I think I asked you this, but did they do the history of Trunks?
they didn't go back to his time, and they didn't say anything about Gohan being his teacher or anything like that, as far as I know.
Yeah, that's another amazing moment when he finds Gohan and goes Super Saiyan for the first time. And there's so many awesome moments that it's like, I want to see them reanimated.
Oh, actually, no. I think they may have done it. It was. I think they may have used a similar animation that they used for, if you've played Xenoverse 2. There was this weirdly out of place, really well animated scene.
Just out of nowhere.
And I can't remember if I'm mixing it up with that.
I think
it was actually in the game.
I think no, it was in Xeno. You might be mixing it up actually, yeah, because it was the only bit in Xenoverse that was animated. We both kind of stopped and went, "What's going on?" Because it actually went to full FMV. It wasn't a 3D render; it was drawn. Somebody fucking drew a bit of anime for Xenoverse, and I was like, "What the fuck? Where's this come from?"
And I can't remember if they redid that in this game. They may have.
They might have done. No.
But I can't remember because there's just so many animations. I will have to go back through the because they give you like this little book where you can go back and watch all the animated sections and stuff like that, which is nice.
That's cool. Very cool.
There's also a time machine at the end where you can go back and play any missions that you missed, like me, because I was an idiot and didn't go back. But yeah, sorry. So after sort of Boo has broken out of the time chamber,
yeah,
when you get past there, it's just sort of non-stop. And then when you get to the fusion of the two boys, that is when it fucking blew my face off.
Do you play as Gotenks, or is that just...
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
Yes.
Very
and unfortunately,
nice.
They didn't have an awesome animation for when he transformed. And they didn't show the failed attempts. They didn't show like the failed attempts of their fusion.
Yeah.
So it was just straight, boom, we did it first time. Amazing. And they can always do it first time. Like, obviously, it's to save time. I mean, I think I'm 80 hours into it or something like that.
I don't mind. We recently got that essentially reanimated in the Broly movie with...
yes.
That was a very nice animation for that fusion.
But when they go to... I think it's Vegito, isn't it? In this one.
In this one, yeah,
because
it would have been in the Boo saga. It would have been Vegito because they used the Potara.
Potara. Yeah. When that happens, fucking hell, the animation on that is amazing. I will try and pull it up while I'm still talking about this. But so I would keep my rating 8 out of 10. There's still enough for me to go, but
there was some polishing needed doing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like they could come back and just add updates and stuff. Which
plenty of games doing that recently.
Yeah, and I've got another game that does that later as well. A little foreshadowing for you. But the update that I wanted to talk about for this game, I'm not going to talk about the game anymore. I'll find that animation for you for the Vegito one soon. But they're adding an update that adds a card game mode to it. I did speak to you about this quite briefly. And it's going to include multiplayer. This game hasn't had multiplayer from the get-go, so they're adding a multiplayer mode, which you thought, well, you're probably right, they're going to add for monetization's sake more than anything else.
I suppose they'll probably make a little Xenoverse where maybe it'll be like, it probably won't be local multiplayer, it'll probably be online multiplayer, and then you'll probably have tournaments and shit, but you just won't have like a little world to run around in like Xenoverse.
Yeah. You might have like a little sort of King Kai world, just to sort of plot about in and have. Oh, that would be pretty awesome. You have a little hub or something where you can just see people.
Otherworld would make a pretty cool hub. To be fair,
that would be a pretty cool hub actually. It does unlock the other worlds for you when you finish.
Oh, cool.
So you get the map and then it says, "Oh, New Namek," and it's King. So it's King Kai's planet. New Namek, and there's somewhere else that I cannot think of. There's somewhere that's off-world.
Kais?
Yes, the land of the Kais. That is it. That is it. Yeah, the land of the Kais. And so this may be something where if they see how many people are playing multiplayer, they may tweak the game slightly to allow for 1v1 like actual normal battles and stuff like that?
I think they're going to have to do a lot to compete with Xenoverse. I think they might be developed by different companies, actually, because Xenoverse still has a massive following. Most of the players moved to Xenoverse 2 when it came out and have stuck with the game ever since. It still has a large player base. It still gets supported and updates and stuff, so...
I mean, with massive multiplayer games, as long as there's a massive player base, the developers will stick around as well.
Yeah, so I don't know if Kakarot will be able to compete with it unless they make a really good fight system that rivals Xenoverse's, which wouldn't be hard because Xenoverse's, as much as I love it, is a little clunky.
It's a little janky.
Yeah.
They're always going to be. And I don't think I'd want a Dragon Ball Z game that
isn't.
Flawless, really.
Let's go play Final Bout. Oh, we can't. It's not online. Damn it.
Ah, fuck.
Damn it.
Oh, I have downloaded a ROM of that at some point, and
yes, boy.
I'm pretty sure I can hook 2 controllers up to it so we can play anywhere, basically.
Some emulators allow you to actually do multiplayer. So if the game, like on a PS1, had a 2-player, then you can do it online, essentially.
Ah, okay.
I only know this because I used to play an N64 emulator which had online compatibility. This is back in the early 2000s, and I could play other people on Smash on the computer.
Oh, fuck, nice. I will have to have a look into that.
So yes, that might be possible, actually. I wouldn't mind playing some classic games, actually. Yeah.
Oh, I think I can actually. I was playing one game on... I was playing one game on the emulator, and it said, do you want to connect to the internet to receive like rewards and updates and stuff? And I was like, yeah, why not? I'll try it just to see if it's actually connected. And it did connect, and it connected me and signed me in and stuff like that.
Well, it's usually like you can usually connect by... I can't remember exactly what it is, but you can usually connect your 2 emulators and then, or more emulators if it's like a 4-player game. Because when I used to play Smash, you could have multiple people in a room. And all it would do is emulate from one central point. So it would probably, whoever was the host, that would be the main emulation, and everyone else would just see that emulation and send and receive signals, essentially.
Okay, I will have to have a look into that. And with this Dragon Ball Z Kakarot section over, our weekly Dragon Ball Z Kakarot section, and I'll be talking about it weeks, even months after the game is finished, over and done with, and probably discarded because it's pretty good until the next one comes out. The DLC is coming out on the 28th of April. It probably will be out by the time this episode is out, and that is the Beerus DLC. The what's the movie called? I know it's at the start of Super as well.
Battle of the Golds.
Yes, it's essentially that. You can play it at any time, so you can get Super Saiyan God at any time. I think the second DLC will allow you to get Super Saiyan Blue.
Nice.
But you can play them at any time during the storyline. And I'm pretty sure that the characters sort of match your level, so I think you might be able to just start the game, go and get Super Saiyan God, and then just wipe the floor with practically everyone. I may do that. I may have to start a new game and do that at some point. Luckily, I did save a save file that was right after all the boring tutorial and stuff, and just kept it there and started saving on a different file, so I could just start up there again and just carry on. So I just skipped all the tutorial and I get into the fun stuff. So I may have to jump on that. So 28th of April, I think the season pass is 20 quid, I think. So you get both of them, which if they're 10 hours each, that's probably worth it. I will probably pick that up.
Yeah. Sounds
and
good.
My last two gaming news. Sorry, Howard, I've been just taking this away with gaming news. Basically, there will be no WWE 2K21 for anyone who was excited for it or after the last one. That mess of a WWE game.
I love a good messy WWE game, to be fair.
I love it to a certain degree. Like, I love it when somebody just like glitches through the ring and then they just pop out the other end. But fair, when it's physically unplayable, that's a bit too far for me.
Just for shits and giggles, because it's probably going to be worth nothing now, I might pick up a copy now. Now it's going to be worth...
you would be very mistaken. I think it's still going for like 20, 30 quid, I think.
All right, I'm waiting until it's a 10. I'm waiting until it's a tenner. I ain't getting that for more than £10.
I'll do the No Man's Sky sort of thing with it when it was rubbish, pick it up for cheap, and then wait for it to be pretty good. So the reason that that's been completely shelved and stuff like that, for now at least, they may release it next year, is because there's no one about to do motion capture. And because the last game was a bit of a mess. I think they must be reshuffling and redoing which studio takes over. I assume after the mess of last time, because I think it was an in-house studio that did this one.
Yeah, well, I think it was a Japanese company or a Chinese company that had been working with them they'd been working with them since, if I remember rightly, the WWF Attitude Era. When it was WWF.
A long fucking time.
Yeah, over 25 years, I think. They've been building games for the WWE. And then WWE...
Wrestling's been around for that long? Oh my god.
Well, I don't think they left the contract. I think the WWE just dropped them and then went, we can do this in-house. And they went, we can't do this, fuck.
Well, the money that they saved by sacking that company, they lost by having a really shit game, basically. Like, even looking at the comparisons of the graphics and stuff like that, it looked like a PS2 game instead of a PS4. It looked, it looked ridiculous. And, this is my last one. This is my last gaming one. There was a blog post by the No Man's Sky team talking about sort of future updates and stuff like that.
Oh, send me a link.
I'm way ahead of you. So we all know. So I'll run through some of the updates that have already come out. So the updates are extensive. Like, these are the big ones. There's smaller ones, I think, in between.
Well,
these ones.
Before we carry on, if you don't know anything about No Man's Sky and would like to learn something about it, go watch Internet Historian's video, which I've forgotten the name of. The Ingoodening of No Man's Sky.
Oh, I remember it. Oh, has he changed?
He might have changed it, because when I last saw it, it was called the Ingoodening of No Man's Sky.
Oh, I'm thinking of just a thumbnail where it says "Yes, Woman's Land" instead of No Man's Sky. There we go. I'll give you the link to that. So if you don't know anything about No Man's Sky, I'm not going to explain anything, so I will force you to go and watch this video. But essentially, the updates that have came out since the release of it was the Foundation update, the Pathfinder update, the Atlas Rises update, where it started to look pretty good.
That's where you started playing, or did you start on Next?
That was where I started the day before Next came out.
Ah, okay.
And had an awful time.
I think
didn't want to come back.
I've been playing since Pathfinder or Foundation. No, Pathfinder, I think. Yeah.
I think Foundation was when they added better bases, so people started to go, oh, you know what, if I can build a nice little base, this may not be too bad.
Yes, no, because I was playing it way before vehicles, the cars and stuff, so yeah, that would have been, I would have been playing during the Foundation. So you must have been Foundation. Yeah.
You were a founder of No Man's Sky. Where's your cut of the profits?
Where's my silly little sticker to put on a ship or something?
Oh, that would be pretty awesome. Oh, I want to customize a ship, man. Give it me.
That's just that's what I want.
So after the Atlas Rises update, it was the No Man's Sky Next update, which completely changed the game and sort of made it into a viable product again.
Yeah.
After sort of the sort of horrendous release of the game that saw everything spiral into crazy. Well, you'll see. Watch the video. It's all, everything's in the description. You have the Abyss update, Visions update, Beyond update, Synthesis update, the Living Ship update, and the latest is the Exomech update. I'm going to let you guess what those updates are. I'm not going to explain them. But what I'm here today to talk about is this essentially 2 lines of text. It says, in addition to these content updates, we are working up some more ambitious
story. Give me story.
Well,
more story.
They're very vague. They're saying we are working up some more ambitious additions to the universe and have so much more planned for 2020 for us to feel excited about. So we know there's a lot more coming. That's literally all I have in that section.
Ooh,
I hope that excited you.
Ooh, there's a new backpack which I'm going to be going online and getting. Ooh.
Oh, is that a new backpack? I thought that was a concept art.
Quicksilver Synthesis Companion has been focusing their processes on a new invention and has proudly generated a new special type of collectible, the Alternative Exosuit Backpack.
Oh, it does look quite nice as well, actually.
I want it.
Oh, God.
I've still got to get the living ship, though, so...
Oh, I haven't. I don't think I've been on since Beyond. So I've completely missed out on everything. I do need to grow my own ship. And I know you think that sounds weird if you've never played No Man's Sky, but trust me, it's normal. And that's my gaming section over. I don't think I have any more gaming news to talk about, really.
Well, before we move on to anything else, did you hear about Trump's rampage about people having light and disinfectants put inside of their bodies?
I saw a headline of it today, and I was like, "What? What is this about?" I'm glad that you've brought that up because I did want to know what that was about.
Well, instead of showing you the clip of him talking about it, I've got a much better clip which I'm gonna send you now.
You're gonna show me him screaming about it.
No, it's I think it's a female comic on TikTok. Basically, took the audio and did her own version.
Okay, I'm instantly more interested now.
And normally I hate TikTok, but this was brilliant.
All right, I am ready.
I've sent you the link to. I believe this is the actual person who made it, so it's only 49 seconds long.
Sarah Cooper.
We hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light. And I think you said that hasn't been checked, but you're going to test it. And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do, either through the skin or in some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that, too. Sounds interesting. Right, and then I see the disinfectant, where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that?
It's supposed to be a press conference.
Injection inside or,
Wait, what?
Or almost a cleaning, because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number of lungs, so it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. But it sounds interesting to me.
Medical doctors.
Sounds interesting to me. What? Sorry, what? Disinfectant does a wonder on the lungs. Hello?
Well, he was essentially talking about injecting people with disinfectant and fucking putting lights inside people's bodies. I think it's finally happened. I think he's finally broken.
This is going to be a very interesting presidential run. I want to see Joe Biden on one side forgetting where he is and Donald Trump on the other side trying to give herbal medicine advice.
Oh, no matter who wins this election, America's fucked. That's it.
Yes.
This
so we may as well make the most of it while we can before shit hits the fan. Not verbally, physically. It was. Oh God, I'm looking forward to it. / scared of what's gonna happen.
I'm scared of looking forward to it.
I'm scared. Yeah, I'm in limbo of between excitement and fear.
I call it.
I call it daily life.
I call it fightment. Now it ruined. Start again. Moving on.
Cut that. Cut it. What the fuck? What the fuck?
I know. At least it was delivered in that
What?
beautiful fashion by that.
Yeah, I don't need to see the original now. That's how I'm going to remember it from now on.
How I'm going to remember it forever. Just the UV light and then just a lamp.
She for me is the new Donald Trump. She can be my visualization of Donald Trump.
She's my president.
Be much nicer. She's my president.
Pregananant.
Oh God, I hope Donald Trump's not pregananant.
Oh no.
Oh God. Do you have anything else you want to get to, Howard?
Not that I can think of. Did you want to
On our Corona cast?
move on to your? Have you got any suggestions for the
I do.
peopolus?
I do, but I'm going to save those for a little bit. I've got a few more points. I do have a few more points before
How
we get to the tail end of this.
you.
I'll rattle through these because they're not very important. But for everybody who's a My Hero Academia fan of the dub variety, you can rest assured by knowing that it's officially back. They did postpone it due to the Rona disease.
Oof.
Basically, they've taken. I assume they've just taken all their equipment home and recorded it there instead. Which I have to admit, I feel sorry for my neighbours currently having to hear my voice for how long have we been going? For about an hour and 10 on my time, probably an
They'll
hour.
listen and they'll like it.
They will love it because I've drilled holes in the floor and ceiling so they can hear it.
Pay attention to me.
I hate you. But it's back, so they must have taken all the equipment home, and yeah, I don't envy their neighbours to hear them anime scream everywhere. It was delayed last week for some random reason, but hopefully it's back this weekend.
It happens all the time with anime. When I was watching Dragon Ball Z, it was just like 1 week. It was like, no episode this week. See you next week. Bye.
But why?
Why? Bye.
We said no episode this week. Also, no response. Yeah, for some reason, the dub just seems to lag behind even more than it does anyway. This season of My Hero Academia was supposed to be simultaneously dubbed and subbed, so it was coming out.
Yeah.
Granted, for quite a while at the same week, but then it just started to slowly lag behind.
Kevin Smith said he said you're going to notice a massive rise in animated content because it's the one thing that can be done entirely from self-isolation, essentially. Because he's working on the He-Man reboot on Netflix. Not reboot, sorry, continuation on Netflix. And he's like, yeah, we're still moving along and expecting to come out when we originally slated. He was like, imagine a lot of scripts that would have been suggested for movies and stuff now are probably being taken up by animation studios instead.
Probably, because you can do that separately.
For a little while.
You don't really need to be next to someone for that, and introverts are rejoicing worldwide. But yeah, so that's my animation news. My 1 point of animation. You get all that gaming news and just 1 point of animation news. I did want to talk about the iPhone SE and the Oneplus 8 that came out recently. This is more of a rant. This is more of a rant, really. So prepare yourself.
No.
So the OnePlus 8 was announced. So it's the OnePlus 8 and the OnePlus 8 Pro.
Yeah.
Which they've been doing for a while. Now, OnePlus started as sort of a flagship phone killer. It started off by having all these amazing specs for the low price. You would get like a flagship 600, 700 pound phone for about 300, and you'd just miss out on certain gimmicky features and stuff like that. But now they've started to go more into the flagship market with higher priced phones. This OnePlus 8 Pro, I think it's like £1,000 or something, or like $1,000. It's in the... Oh no, actually, I think it starts off at £699, and the OnePlus 8 starts at the $599. That's obviously the basic bitch version, the which I would have to get. And the iPhone, who are deemed sort of like the cream of the crop, who release just flagship phones mainly, have bought out this new iPhone SE, which personally I think is a godsend, really. Because
they've done it before. They've done it before with the iPhone C when that came out.
Yeah, they have.
But it's been a few years since they had a budget phone. Essentially, everyone thought with the C that would be the beginning of a long line of budget phones, but it's been it's been several years.
Now, see, iPhone C. Now,
Senor.
Bonjour. So this new iPhone, I see it sort of as a godsend. I'm talking about my perspective now. Not everyone, because you have people who understandably want to have the newest phone, the newest, greatest phone with all the latest gimmicks, the latest camera, everything like that. More power to you. I'm so glad that you can afford to do that, frankly, and that you enjoy doing that, because I am sort of the same way with consoles. I love it when new consoles, new games, new anything like that comes out, and one day I hope I can just get the new iPhone every single year, or the new Samsung, whatever the fuck takes my fancy. Yeah. But with this iPhone SE, if they, what was the time difference between this and the last one? Would you say? It's got to be more than 5 years between this one and the last iPhone SE.
I can't actually remember.
If you want to do the research on that, I will keep rambling. But when it comes to my perspective, I don't buy phones every year, every other year, or every other year. I tend to buy phones every time my phone dies. So 5 years,
Generally.
6 years usually.
Generally, when I do it, this was the first time I bought a phone while I still have a working phone in forever.
Yeah. So if this wasn't, I wouldn't mind if this sort of thing, the iPhone SE, if they bought out ones like this where they just sort of went, all this technology and stuff that we've cultivated over the past 5-6 years, we can reduce it down to a budget version where you can still be up to date, but not completely. Every 5-6 years, something like that would be perfect. You don't have to do it every year. Just wait until you've completely perfected and efficiently refined the price on all of these devices, and just whack it in a budget phone for people who don't care.
It does look like
frankly.
the last SE came out in 2016 by the look of it. So you're right, about 4-5 years.
So 2016, that would be perfect. If you bought the last SE, I would say probably now you would.
Now's a good time to upgrade.
Yeah, this one would be. I think this one would probably last you that 4 years better than the last one.
And getting an SE on contract is incredibly cheap for an iPhone. Well, per month it's not cheap, but it's still cheap per month and better than getting a full
compared to
contract.
other iPhones.
Yeah,
it's like
you can get
like half the price.
When I was getting my 11, they were talking me through the prices of what the SEs were going to be, and they were better prices than because I got the iPhone 11, the base one. The one with not the base one. I got the iPhone 11 with the 2 cameras. I can't remember which one.
Is it the one with the 3 cameras at the back in like the square?
The 2 cameras. So it's got like the autofocus and like the stuff like that. But they were offering me about £20 something a month for the SE, and for the 11, I think I'm paying about double that essentially. Paying about paying about 40.
What was the internet on that package? Because I think minutes and texts are like unlimited standard now.
I've stopped. I basically only do internet contracts now, so it has minimal phone and text, and it's focused on internet. So I get 20 gig internet a month.
Oh, that's a lot.
20 gig internet a month, and an iPhone 11 at about 40 quid, which isn't too bad.
That is not bad at all. Was there any upfront cost for that as well?
No, but I didn't go for the most expensive model. Essentially, I went for a 64 gig, which is where a lot of the cost goes. But
still, that is a very good deal. I have to admit, that is very good.
Yeah.
So if you whack that on an SE, you'd probably be looking at like 10-15 a month for the same sort of contract.
It's about 20 quid a month, I think, if I remember rightly.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking yours was 20.
Yeah. I'm on a longer contract as well, because I've been with this company for a few years now, and they're like, well, you pay your bills and everything on time.
You get grandfathered in.
They were like, we've never had a problem with you, so they basically just went, we'll give you an extra long contract date essentially. So maybe my phone would have cost more a month, but it costs less because I'm paying it over a longer period.
Yeah, that's good. That's good actually. But so yeah, that's essentially just my rant of the SE. It's got like it's got a good battery life because it's I don't know why it's got a good battery life actually. I think it's just because it's got such a smaller screen. I don't know how it's got a good battery life though, because it's only got a 2,000 milliamp battery.
Well, when you consider the amount of power the bigger screens and cameras and everything draw, because it's only got a basic. It's got the same cameras on my iPhone, because I've got here next to my iPhone 11, I've got my old iPhone 6S. I think it's got from what I've seen, I think it's probably about the same camera as that, and the 6S I got in 2015.
Oh, so, I think it's got the camera. I think I watched Marcus Brownlee's video on this. It's got the same camera as the iPhone 8, and it's got the same chip as the iPhone 11.
Bit better than mine, and probably if it's got the same chip, it's probably still got the same, not so much quality, but it's probably got the same kind of fidelity
Yeah, it's only got one camera as well. So if you're a multicam person, sorry, but you're out. You're out.
I think it's got
Bye.
the back and front facing. Like I think that's as stable now as to have the back and front face.
But
Camera.
I love it when these high-end companies, because Apple can afford to do this. Apple can afford to release a budget version
God, yeah.
for people as well. And I think it is great when companies do this, unlike Oneplus, who are just gouging cash now.
Well, they've always done it. If you're a person who wants to buy Mac, but is like, fuck, it's so expensive, they do budget computers. I mean, the the Mac Minis that we use. I've got one and we use them for work. They come in at around
Perfectly good.
Perfectly good. To be honest, I've got a 2013 iMac Mini, my personal one. That is still supported. It's still getting updates. It still runs really fast. I think it's an i5. Still runs really great. I could do all the work that I do on my work computer currently on it. Which
is
saves
quite
a
a
lot
heavy
because I
load
do a
of
lot
graphical
of
stuff.
video editing and graphics design, so that takes up quite a lot of power. So considering that it's a little machine that you how much were you paying for a Mini? What, between 600 and 700 maybe?
I wonder how much one is now.
I think the medium range is like 900. I think, but I think the lower range, it's probably gone up in price since the last time I checked.
About 800 on Apple's store currently. That's for the brand new one, though.
Yeah, I mean, you can get a refurbished one.
But that, when you think about it, that would last you. What, you've had yours since 2013, so that would last you till 2027.
Yeah.
If you look after it, at least.
If you look after it well, Apple does look after you, and to be honest, there's not much looking after to do with the iMac Mini. It has a really good, I don't know how they've done it, but it's got a really good coolant system. It doesn't have many vents, so there's not many points of access for dust. I've had my Mac Mini for years, and you don't really need to clean it and open it because it tends to be fairly airtight. Every now and again, you'll want to open it and maybe give it a hoover out, but
Apple. I have to admit, I'm not a huge Apple fan. I only have like one Apple product.
They're not the best. I'm not an Apple fanboy. I do like my Apple products. They are very good for the work that I do. But if I didn't do the work that I do, I wouldn't have a Mac. I'd stick to Windows.
I find that Apple and Nintendo, both of them are quite similar. They don't do what every other company does, but they succeed very well in what they do. Yeah. So you'll have the Nintendo Switch, completely different from the other two consoles. Doesn't have the best graphics in the world, like the Nintendo Switch Lite, which also, by the way, the Nintendo Switch is a very coveted item. So I think like if we talk about that, somebody might come for us. But the Nintendo Switch Lite, I think it has a 720p display, and still they just make it work so well. The fan, you can barely. I was listening. I think it was a Digital Foundry review of the Switch Lite, and just saying that even when he put his ear right up to where the fan is, he couldn't hear a thing, even when it was playing. Yeah. And they optimize it so well.
There's something about those two companies with optimization, because you've been working from home, so you've been working on your Mac Mini that we use for work. How often do you fucking hear that thing?
Never. I forget that it's there, to be honest.
I never. I've got it right next to the microphone, and I'm currently recording the podcast on a Mac Mini.
It just works so well.
It never gets picked up by the microphone. We've been recording.
Sponsored by Apple.
Yeah, usually we don't have the Mac this close to everything, but because of my setup, I've basically got the Mac an inch away from the microphone, and you probably wouldn't know at all.
I can't hear it. Now I can hear it. I'm going to hear it all the time now. So that's my technology rant over. Yeah, just go buy the iPhone SE. I'm a big OnePlus fan, but go buy the SE. And the very last thing I have for you, Howard, before I get to my recommendations, is that the artist known as Banksy has created
I thought you were going to say formerly known as Prince.
Banksy, formerly known as Prince, creates a coronavirus lockdown artwork in his bathroom, and
He should never take a picture inside where he is. When you remember how Paul found where that flag was in an empty white room.
Yep.
They found out where it was in the world. Never don't post a picture of your dwelling.
Granted, that was a video and a live stream, so it's a bit easier to find. But yeah, I do agree. Somebody will be like, "Oh, that bathroom looks very similar to my nan's bathroom. It's in this area," and goodness. But it's just it's a load of rats and stuff like that around his bathroom, just
having a good time,
causing havoc. So if you want to have a look at that, some Banksy artwork, he's not taking a break because of old Rona. He's just doing it in his own house now. I think it did say somewhere that his wife was annoyed at the whole thing, which I can understand. It does. Let me be honest. It does look. If it wasn't Banksy, it would be like, oh god, this is horrible. There's just rats everywhere. And with that one, I shall move on to my recommendations. I've got 3 for you today. I did have 11, but Howard advised me to shorten it because we don't want to sit here for the next 8 hours talking about all these recommendations. Now, from these recommendations, I realized that I'd been recommending sort of channels whose videos last over 30-40 minutes.
Yeah.
I'd been recommending quite long form content. So for all of these recommendations, they all upload videos below 10 minutes. They're all bingeable, basically. This is my bingeable content
bingeable
recommendation. So my first one is, some of these are big as well. Some of these are like really big YouTubers and are probably really well known. But I have found that a lot of the time I go into comment sections and stuff of where people are recommending stuff on Reddit and stuff like that, and just huge YouTubers and people like, what, who? So I always assume that there's always going to be someone huge that you don't know. So my first one is Binging with Babish.
Oh, I love a bit of Babish.
Now this is he's a food YouTuber.
Yes.
He's a chef. Let's just say he's a chef. I think he's a chef, and he's a film student as well, or he was a film student when he started off, which was the whole reason he started this YouTube channel. I found him when he first started his channel.
I think, along with you, a bunch of podcasts have also recommended this to me.
Yep. Benjamin Babish is always being recommended. He's always on Philip DeFranco whenever he uploads something. And
his trailer video here, I immediately spotted just because it's an artist I really like. His music is 1612 by Wolfpack. Wolfpack, very good artist. You won't find him on Spotify though. Better search for him on YouTube. Sorry, carry on.
Is it the doodle-doo-doo-doo, doodle-doo-doo-doo,
It's the one, whatever's playing on his trailer.
I will take a look while I carry on talking about him. So yeah, I think he was a film student, and he just sort of like, I really enjoy cooking. I don't know if he's a trained chef or he just really enjoys cooking. And he said, you know what, let me just combine these pretty much. And just to give you some examples of what he makes, he's not the conventional sort of chef channel where they just do a recipe and then just give you step by step, slow it down. It's like quite clunky, I find sometimes with some of them, not all of them. But with this, he tells you tips along the way while he's making some of these. Like he's like, oh, you might want to grate the cheese this way at this point so that you get it just right. But he doesn't give you step by step. So the things that he's created is he's created the Krabby Patty from SpongeBob, which we all
I've seen that
know.
video. Yeah.
He's made the Rib Witch from The Simpsons. He's also done meals from King of the Hill, Friends. I think he did the turkey for Friends, Game of Thrones. He's done them for like Bob's Burgers. I've seen he's done them for he's done it for a lot of things basically.
Yeah.
So if you're into a lot of TV and movies, he's your guy as well.
Yeah, there's a kind of a trend with people who make things from fictional things. So you can buy like the Fallout and Skyrim recipe books, and you can make those. And I've watched people make things like what's that thing? I can never remember
Nuka-Cola?
the name of it. I've seen the recipe for Nuka-Cola and a bunch of yeah, a bunch of other things like the actual food items and stuff.
Oh, sweet roll. Is sweet roll one of them? Because I know
yeah.
there's a sweet roll at the start of Fallout 3.
Yeah. There's there's you can buy the recipe books for the games where people have actually made the recipes for those meals. All like
Nice. You'll have to go and Google that, find out some of that. I'd say probably the reason that I think that he's bingeable as well is he does have a very nice voice as well.
That helps.
While you're just listening to him, like a lot of these my next recommendation as well is very known for his voice, in my opinion anyway. It's sort of, imagine like Bob Ross, but he's cooking, you know. Not as great as Bob Ross, I'm not putting him on that pedestal, but just sort of Bob Ross but cooking.
So that's what I'm searching for. Bob Ross but cooking.
Bob Ross but cooking. He should come up at the top result. He'll shout at you later because he's also a drill sergeant. No, he's not. He also does a series called Basics with Babish. So this is the series that you want to watch if you want to learn, rather than just sort of have a mong out on the sofa and just watch 15 videos of him cooking different things while you're starving. So a few of them include like sauces, eggs, tacos, steak. So it's just a video centered around one thing. And then he just teaches you how to use them, how to cook them, how to I think the first video is like these kitchen essentials and how to keep them in pristine order and stuff like that. How to keep them right as rain. He does have playlists as well, which I do have a link for that because I wasn't going to write all these down. But he's got different playlists. So he's got easy, difficult, vegetarian, carnivorous, cheap, expensive. He's also got ones that are like breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, and it just seems like he's just there just to go, fuck, dude, here you go. Here's some recipes for you. Try these out. Some of them are ridiculous to do, I have to admit. And I don't know how he's got the mental fortitude to go through them. But he does also have a vlog section of his channel as well. If you wanna check that out. If you're not really interested too much in the cooking side of it, he does do vlogs. And anyway, so that's my first recommendation, Binging with Babish. Do you want to take the next one, or do you want me to just rattle through all three of mine?
No, carry on. I'll do mine after you, bud.
Okay, well, my next one, again, really nice, calm, soothing voice, is Jerry Rig Everything. Have you heard of this guy? I
have a feeling I do.
So, if you ever watch any... I think before he came around, you usually had to watch drop tests and stuff like that of phones just to see how durable they are, and then you'd have to go through like multiple videos of people testing it out. But Jerry Rig Everything, especially now that he's quite a large YouTuber, gets new phones pretty much like straight away. He gets them instantly. I think he had the Oneplus 8 the day it was announced.
If you've got enough followers, then companies like Apple and stuff will just send you a phone. They'll just be like, yeah, no, of course we're not going to miss this opportunity.
Apple, how many have we got? 2? Send me one. Send me an iPhone SE. I promise I will not break it.
I'll just keep it.
Thank you. I'll use it like a normal person. So yeah, he does phone tests. So some of the tests that he does is he does a flame test, he does a bend test, he has a Mohs pick test, if you know what that is. It's sort of he has these picks that vary in hardness.
Oh, for scratching screens and stuff.
Yep. And he just writes 1 to 5 on a piece of paper, or a piece of sticky paste thing. I can't think of the word. Tape. He does like something like paper tape, basically, that he writes 1 to 5 up the side and just goes like. And it starts to scratch at 6 and has a deeper groove at 7. You'll start to learn the meme of that.
I would have just written it while I was scraping into the screens. 1, 2.
Sometimes he does. Sometimes he draws a picture on the back of the phone with like a one of those blade knives that you can get that you can like extend. Yeah. And I don't know what they're used for.
I think Americans call them X-Acto knives. We call them oh shit. How have I forgotten this?
A nearly X-Acto knife.
My God, my brain's actually just stopped. Sorry. My brain's actually stopped. I don't know why. Apparently I'm an American
your brain
now.
is not an X-Acto knife.
No. Stanley knife. Jesus Christ, my brain.
A Stanley knife. Yep.
Yeah.
So he usually gets a Stanley knife, and if the back of the phone isn't like Gorilla Glass or something, he just starts to draw like happy faces and stuff in it, and just he tears the phone apart basically. So you can get a gist of how strong it is.
Yeah.
He's done multiple tests where he's bent. He's a fucking big guy as well. Like his arms are huge. So if he can't break the phone, I don't think I will. I don't think I will in a million years. So just to give you sort of an example of what he's already done. He's done like the OnePlus 8. He's basically done all of the OnePlus phones pretty much.
Yeah.
I think that's probably one of his staples. He does all the iPhones. He's done so many where he's bent the phone and it just snaps in half.
Looks like he's done some classic ones as well.
Yeah, he's done the Moto Razr as well, that flip phone.
Oh, he's done the new one? Oh.
Yes. And again, they
I
are
may have
very
clicked- I
they're
may have
very
clicked on it.
soothing to watch. And again, all under 10 minutes, and I like it. Oh, it's great to watch basically. And I want to see the new iPhone SE on that channel.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my second recommendation: jerry rig everything. If you want to have sort of, I suppose ASMR-ish, phone destruction, basically.
Yeah.
Because you hear like all the tapping of the knife and everything, so it's sort of ASMR.
Oh, good God, that razor looks cool. God damn it.
Until he breaks it in half. And my last one, you know about this one as well, is Girlfriend Reviews, which is a relatively new channel to the YouTube space.
But one that I've enjoyed.
One that I have
Thoroughly.
thoroughly enjoyed. She like, well, they both, I think. I don't know if he edits and she just reviews it.
Yeah.
I don't know the dynamic of how it works, but essentially it's a different kind of review. They don't review the game. They review what it's like to live with someone who's played the game or playing the game. But they subtly review it as well as. So it's not sort of an IGN review, and it's also not a donkey review.
Yeah.
It's in the middle somewhere with great editing, like fantastic editing, I have to admit. Just timed perfectly, comedically perfectly timed, and just that is my recommendation. I can't say anything more about that one without giving too much away. Go and watch that. They've done a Dragon Ball Z Kakarot video that I still haven't watched.
Double recommendation from us.
Oh, sorry, I did have a list of games done. It was on my second page. Sorry, I will go through a few of the games that they've done. So they did Red Dead Redemption 2, which is what kicked it all off officially for them. That was their first video, and it blew up. They've done Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. They've recently done the new Animal Crossing game. Good video again. They've done Spider-Man, God of War. Essentially now they're big enough where they can just review the latest games that are coming out. So whenever a huge game comes out, I assume when like Spider-Man 2 comes out, the next God of War, whatever, that'll be on there.
Yeah.
I don't think they release them as soon as it comes out, like a few other reviewers, because I think they still have to wait to buy a copy like us and then play through and stuff like that.
Yeah, and by the nature of their review, it's like you say, it's to see how the person they're living with, it's like, oh God, it's screaming again into the void. Basically.
Yeah. So don't expect brand new reviews as soon as the game comes out. Give it a couple weeks, and then a review will come out. They'll put something out of an older game in between that. I'm sure.
Yeah.
And it's also a great excuse for him to just replay a load of games. To be fair, I think it's a great excuse.
To be fair, your recommendations have reminded me of. So I didn't have any YouTube recommendations, but. A channel that if you've been on YouTube for a while, you'll know this person probably. My brother introduced him to me a few years ago. Ashens.
Yes. Oh, the British man on the sofa.
But that's another great one for very soothing, very... his videos are inane. I mean, it's like his latest video is Frozen Elsa Robot Watch Transformer Watch thing. And he just reviews awful things. So, like, he's done recently the Wish.com random items review, where he has a select set of words So he's reviewing 7 items, but whenever he does one of these review things, he takes these 7 words and he sticks them in the search term, and the first thing that comes up is the thing that he buys, essentially. So it's almost like a test for every cheap naff store.
It's like a pick and mix, basically.
Yeah. He's very good. I think he does regular Poundland reviews, where he reviews Poundland.
Oh yeah,
shit.
he does. Yeah. And his content is sort of, if you imagine, this isn't meant to come off offensive, but if you just imagine your dad reviewing stuff, it's like that. It's not an upbeat reviewer going, "Wow, this like Poundland thing is amazing." He's just like, "This is really shit, isn't it?" And then just throws it to the side.
He kind of talks down here about everything. It's kind of, oh, look at that, isn't interesting.
Well, I guess I only paid £1, so fuck it.
Yeah.
And so those are my recommendations, but just a little insight into what else I've got. They aren't all gaming related and technology and stuff like that. I've got somebody who is does live football videos and stuff like that, does roundups of football week. You may be able to guess some of these people by what I'm saying. There's a game reviewer who reviews it differently again to what most reviewers do, and it sort of gives you a better idea of where you stand with the review rather than just giving you an 8.5, something like this. They review it differently. I've got somebody, again, a food sort of reviewer, food reviewer channel. I've got another one who does a history of games. I've got somebody who does theory simulations, who takes real life theories and stuff like that and puts it into a simulation just to see if it's true. Yeah. I've got somebody who makes beats, so that's a music content creator. I've got someone who does everything about streaming and content creation and stuff like that. It's essentially like a lot of tutorials and just dives deep into the brand new stuff of content creation, streaming, and everything in that realm. And so, lastly, somebody who just goes through Tumblr and does videos on that stuff.
Are you going to put these in the description, or are you saving these for next week?
No, I'm saving these, so you will have to come back next week. I am not apologizing because you have to stick it out like me and wait. I will be adding to this list, no doubt. So those aren't the only people. I do want to say about the streaming content. Sorry, before we move on to yours. Sorry, I am rambling now. There's a new I don't know how to phrase it really, but it's a new program essentially with the new RTX cards that have come out.
Yeah.
Where it takes your microphone and it essentially removes any background noise. Like it's beyond anything I've ever seen before. It's not like you set up. I think it might be you. I don't think it's even you set up a noise gate, because there was this guy who was streaming and he had a big fan and was banging a hammer on his desk. And when he had the filters off, you could hear it clearly. You could hear exactly what it is. It was a good microphone, so you could hear everything extremely clearly. Him banging his hammer on the thing, and then he turned the filter on, and it just got rid of it. You couldn't hear it at all, but you could hear his voice perfectly clear, like it wasn't even there. Yeah, and it's some RTX thing. I'll have a link in the description and everything. You can check these clips out. I
assume it's an algorithm that bases things on traumatic vibrations rather than the kind of steady vibrations of a human voice kind of thing.
I think it is, yeah. I think it just goes outside of the human voice range. It just takes that out.
Probably a level of voice analysis as well. You'll probably have a program where you kind of set up your voice so that it kind of knows what to listen for a bit better, based on your vocal range. I assume these are all theories.
I think it is, but at the end of the day, Nvidia is just ridiculous when it comes to technology. So I would not be surprised if they could recreate my whole being inside of a computer. So yeah, sorry, Howard, you carry on. What are your recommendations for this week?
Well, we've gone on for quite long, so I'm just going to do one recommendation.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's all right. Only because I really want people to go and listen to this if they haven't listened to it, because it's not actually a new podcast, and it's only 6, 7. I thought so. Yeah, it's only 7 episodes long.
Okay.
It's not fictional. It came out about 2-3 years ago. If you've ever heard of the podcast called Serial,
Yes, I have. Yeah.
it's from the same people, but it wasn't a podcast about a murder. It was originally intended to be a podcast about a potential murder they were going to investigate, and along the way, it turned out that the murder never occurred. It was kind of a local rumor in this little town in the middle of nowhere, America, and it ends up being this really weird, beautiful, weird, odd story about this eccentric man who lives in the middle of nowhere. He's a complete fucking genius when it comes to just repairing like old clocks and watch. He was like, no one really knew it, but he was like one of the world-renowned people. Like if an antique clock broke,
He would be your go-to guy.
he and about 3 other people in the world would be the go-to guys. And when
Wow, that is a good title.
when this podcaster started the podcast and he was investigating this murder, he had none of that knowledge. It comes out over the 6 episodes. Basically, it's over a series of conversations he has. He goes and visits the town, then he leaves for a while. And but it's done perfectly. It's perfectly long. I think it's 6-hour episodes. 6-hour-long episodes. Sorry, not 6-hour episodes.
Yeah, not 6-hour episodes. Fucking hell. Along with these conversations.
It's just so well edited. It's like you're listening to a story, like an audiobook, but it's entirely true. The events happened, the conversations with this man happened, and he is just one of the considering it's just some guy in bumfuck nowhere in America. It was probably one of the most interesting stories, one of the most interesting people I've ever heard of. And I've been considering recently going back to listen to it. So if you want to listen along, go along and listen to that podcast. It's very good.
Nice. Very nice. I will probably check that out eventually. I've been delving sort of deeper into the less just sort of, I guess, sort of genre of podcasts where it's just 2 people talking.
Yeah.
And they do more stories. It's a lot more structured. Have you ever heard of Reply All?
I haven't, no.
It's sort of like that. They're an internet investigation or something. They just dive deep into subjects and stuff like that. Like the podcast.
That's who last podcast on the left. That's who I listen to. Essentially, do that as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few of them out there.
I think these are shorter. Like the one that I listened to the other day was they re-released the first episode that they'd done, but they managed to talk to somebody new from the story.
Yeah.
It was this story where somebody there was a couple who'd broken up, and then she sent a message via a random person. Like somebody turned up to either his work or his home and just said, "Oh, I'm looking for Michael, whatever his name is," and it's just like, "It's Jan, I still love you," and then he was like, "What was that about?" And both of them were like super confused. Just the fact that this random guy had come in and said, "Oh, I'm your ex-girlfriend. I want you back," or something. And they ran this story like a long time ago. They talked about the app. They talked about like everything like that. It was like 20 minutes, the latest one. But then they actually found the guy who delivered the message and asked him what it was like and stuff like that. Good Reply All. Good podcast. I've only listened to 1 episode, but I'm already hooked. To be honest.
Well, while we're here, this wasn't one of my recommendations, but last podcast on the left as well. They've been going for years. Unfortunately, you'll only find them on Spotify now. They did a recent move. I know, annoying.
You can find us on Spotify as well, by the way.
You can, but you can also find us on Apple Podcasts and Google, which you can't do with last podcast, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
But they go into, they cover topics of murder mystery, cold case, paranormal, what's the one when it comes to animals, cryptids, things like all these kind of weird topics, and they do deep dives. Sometimes it's a single episode, but other times, like the JFK one recently, they covered the JFK story. I think that was done over 6 or 7 episodes, where they would break down the official story, the kind of the conspiracy theories, and then they'd kind of basically go, this is what we believe based on the theories and everything else. But it's Marcus Parks who tends to be their researcher and their scriptwriter, and he kind of presents the episode to Ben Kissel and Henry Zabrowski, who are...
What a name. Ben Kissel.
Ben Kissel, he's a giant of a man. He does a political podcast, but he's also a comedian. Him and Henry Zabrowski are comedians. And they essentially sit and respond to the story as it's told to them and do silly voices and bits and stuff. And it's very entertaining, but also very educational.
Nice. Well, I hope, talking about education, I hope we get back to our regular schedule of educating the nations very soon.
Don't go listening to them for too long. Come back to us next week, please. We need all the listens we get.
Yes, this doesn't pay our bills.
No, just add those to your list, but come back to us.
Each listen is one prayer for us. So that'll do it for this episode. You can... you can check out all the links at cluelessinter.net. You can follow us at cluelessnet on Twitter.
I think I'll go there now.
Oh, thank you. Oh, wait, I'm logged into the account. Can I follow myself? You can email us at podcast@cluelessinter.net. I'll be streaming on Sundays. I start between 6 and 7 p.m. GMT. On there, it's twitch.tv/Clueless Internet.
I'll maybe show up one day.
To be fair, I hardly show up. So we'll be back next week. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.
Have a good night. I love you. Bye.
Bye.